everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. We've got a couple important things that we want to talk to you guys about today. The first is something that's been happening recently on YouTube.
You guys have let us know in several occasions that there are people out there that pose fraudulently as us on YouTube in the comment sections of some of our videos and saying that you've won prizes from us.
We want to let you guys know that, first of all, in none of those instances have that actually been us, and that it's something that's happening pretty widely around YouTube, not just on our channel, but on a lot of different channels. A lot of you have contacted us and let us know that you think our channel has been hacked. I want to let you know some good news. The first good news is that our channel has never been hacked. What this is people who set up accounts to look like ours, but they're not actually accessing our account in any way.
Right.
So they set up a new account. They call it something very similar. Sometimes they'll be like living_traditions or living-traditions,
right,
something like that. And then they'll actually steal our picture off our channel,
right,
and they'll use our picture so that it looks like it's us.
What's happening a lot is that these people are announcing that you are the winner of some prize when we haven't even had a giveaway.
Right.
And then they're saying, text us at this number. And when you text them, they let you know you won a prize, but you need to pay the shipping. And the shipping is ridiculous in some of these cases.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, so they need your payment information. So they're asking for your name, your address, your debit or credit card information. And you guys, this is a scam. It's a scam and it will never be us.
Right. In the future, if we do more giveaways, which you know we've done giveaways in the past, there's a few things that we want you to know. First of all, you will always see a video about us doing a giveaway.
Right.
We're never going to just do a giveaway kind of in secret and then pick winners without you guys knowing that you were, signing up for something.
Right. We will announce those winners on a video,
right,
not through comments or anything like that.
Right. And we will never, ever ask for you guys to pay anything. In fact, YouTube has some really strict policies about doing things like that. You're not even allowed to ask people to subscribe to your channel in order to be part of a giveaway because you're not allowed to basically buy views or buy subscribers.
Right. And
making people pay for giveaways is a way to do that.
Right. So we want you guys to be very careful with your personal information, not just in these situations, but in all situations. And if somebody's asking you for money, you guys, that's a big red flag in these situations.
Right. So we hope that none of you have actually been fooled by this. Hopefully nobody has sent money to any of these people. But again, we have no control over this. Whenever you guys let us know about something like this, we immediately send all of those reports to YouTube.
Right.
And they are good about, getting rid of those channels. But unfortunately, these scammers, they just open more and more and more channels. And like I said, it's not just us. They're not targeting us. This happens all over YouTube. It happens to channels that have millions of subscribers, and it happens to channels with a lot less subscribers than us.
Right. And you guys, sometimes these scammers get to hundreds of people's comments on our videos before we know anything about it. It can be on a very recent video, it can be on a video from a very long time, and we've had a situation where it was on an older video, and by the time we were notified about it, they had commented on 200 different people's comments.
Right.
So I'm saying that to say, sometimes we just can't catch them all and we can't delete them all. We're doing the best that we can, but sometimes it can be overwhelming.
Right. So we just wanted all of you to know that that is kind of going on. We also want you to know that we're never ever going to ask for your money in any way. In fact, we're in a time right now where money is becoming, a hot commodity because prices are getting so high, and you know, it's a time to be very smart with your money. So please be careful online. Don't send your money to anybody that you're absolutely not sure what it's going to. Keep your money so that you can spend it wisely on the things that you need. So that leads us to the next part of the video, and that is using the money that you do have wisely so that you're setting yourselves up for success as we move into an uncertain time in our country and around the world. We want you to be ready to be able to set up your homestead and be successful at homesteading. Now, before we go much further, I just want to say this right from the beginning. Whenever we do a video like this where we try to help people plan ahead for things that might be coming, we get accused of all types of things. We get accused of fear-mongering. We get accused of just all types of things. If that is your opinion of these types of videos, this is probably where you should stop watching this video and go find, you know, one of our other videos where it's just more working or chores or whatever you want to see. Right, happy, feel-good videos. But for those of you who are a little worried about what's going on around the world, worried about the inflation that's happening, worried about just the price of things in general and how hard it's becoming to get certain things, we want to talk through some of those things with you guys today.
We are going to be concentrating on really the homesteading topic.
Right.
We're going to leave some of the other topics to other people who probably do a better job than we can. We just want to talk about kind of wrapping your mind around how you can set yourself up for success on your homestead now, whether you're just getting started homesteading or when you're if you're like totally in the thick of it homesteading.
Right.
Because we know that just between Kevin and I, we've been thinking about, okay, these are the things that are happening in the world right now. How could that affect us in the near future, not necessarily long term, and how can we plan ahead to make sure that we're okay?
Right. So the first thing we want to talk about is animals on your homestead and what we think you need to be really thinking about in regards to animals, whether you already have animals or if you're about to get animals for the first time. What should you be thinking about and what supplies might you need to get now, even if you're not ready to get those animals just yet?
Yeah, we're talking about wise purchasing now to make sure that you're set up for success and to be okay in the near future.
For those of you who don't yet have animals, we want you to really think wisely about and really figure out the math on what animals you really need and how many animals you need to sustain your family. Now, we're not talking today about sustaining the community or going to sell at a farmer's market or anything else. We're talking about what you need on your homestead or your farm or your urban backyard, you know, to sustain your family. So you need to think about the number of animals and what animals those are specific to your needs.
Right, so let's talk about, we're talking about eggs, meat, dairy. What do you need to sustain your family's needs in those areas? And not only numbers, but like what equipment, what fencing, what cages or structures do you need? Because prices are going up, you guys, and because of inflation, our dollar isn't really worth as much. It could really benefit you to get a head start on some of those projects now, purchase what you need now, so over the next few months you can actually act out those plans.
Right. As you know, things are actually getting harder to find in a lot of cases as well. There's a shortage of a lot of things. So there's things that we think you need right now. The number one thing that I was thinking about earlier today, because I use it all the time, is our incubator. I think everybody who raises chickens or ducks or quail or anything like that needs to have an incubator. Even if you're not raising those animals for meat, if you're only raising them for eggs, you need a way to be able to, you know, keep your supply going. And the only way to do that is to be able to hatch more of your own birds. So an incubator is something that I think absolutely hands down everybody needs. Even if you just buy one, you know, a cheap one. I was looking on Amazon, you can get them as low as $39. They'll do a dozen eggs. It's probably not going to be as good as a more expensive one, but it will hatch out some eggs for you, and that's all you need to be able to do.
Along the same lines, if you're hatching birds, you need heat lamps or something to keep them warm.
Right.
This winter, we had to restock on our heat lamp bulbs, and they were out of stock
Right.
at Walmart. So there are times when they're not available, and we don't want to be put in the position where we need one, but we can't find them anymore.
Right.
So now's the time to get those things.
Right. Other things to think about are feed and bedding. Both of those are important, whether you have older animals or you have, chicks that you're hatching out. Just bedding, for example, if you can buy pine shavings in bulk or, in the big blocks and you have space to store it, I would recommend you buy as much as you can afford to buy at the time and stick it away, because it's not going to go bad.
Right.
As long as you can keep it dry and you can keep it, away from rodents and things like that, it's not going to go bad. So you're never going to waste your money by buying those things now.
Right. And you guys, we're not telling you to go make giant purchases on feed or whatever. What we're saying is now's the time to think about what you need right now and what you want to do for the future. Is it best for you to continue buying month to month on your animal feed? Or is now the time, before prices go up anymore, to make some big purchases and to keep those safe for your animals?
What I would honestly recommend, if you can afford to do it, is to be buying at least 3 months worth of everything that you need for your animals. So at any given time, you can sustain those animals for at least 3 months. That gives you some cushion to figure out, what you're going to do as you start to run out of things. Do you need to, then process a bunch of your animals so that you can have them as food? Do you need to figure out alternative ways to feed them? All of those things are important, and the easiest way to kind of be able to do that with a clear mind is to know that, okay, I have enough feed to get them through for the next few months. What are we going to do when those few months are over?
Right. We want to switch directions just a little bit in the homesteading realm and go to what you need to prepare for with gardening, raising your own fruits and vegetables, and how you can kind of get ahead and be prepared for the next few months or longer. And you guys, if you haven't gotten your seeds for this growing year, you absolutely need to get seeds for this growing season.
Right. Last year, a lot of you let us know that you had a hard time finding seeds as it got closer to the growing season. That's something that we're always a little bit ahead of the game, mainly because of having to grow for the farmer's market. We get our seeds pretty early because we need to start all of our plants pretty early. But if you're holding off to start getting seeds until it's time to actually plant in your area, I would highly recommend you change and get them right now. The other thing, you guys, is that you need to be thinking about what seeds you're planting. Every year we plant a lot of, a big garden. A lot of the seeds that we plant are actually hybrid seeds. Hybrid seeds are something that you can't really save seed from. But we also make sure that for pretty much everything in the garden that we plant a hybrid of, we also plant an heirloom of. Just like an incubator, I think, is one of the most important things for you to have if you're raising birds on your homestead. The skill of learning how to save seeds is so important if you're going to be growing your own vegetable garden this summer. It is one of those things that without it, you're not going to be able to keep going year after year if, God forbid, something really bad happens and you can't go to a store to buy seed.
If you think about it, guys, for generations and generations, from the beginning of humans growing their own food, seeds have been saved. That's how we have heirloom seeds today.
Right.
So it's imperative that we learn that skill so that we can continue on. We've all gotten really complacent. We can go to the grocery store and get whatever we want. When we go buy our seeds, we can think, oh, next year there will be seeds. But you know what? We need to be saving seeds to not only to ensure that we have the seeds that we need for next year, but to ensure that those varieties are still there for our kids and for our future.
Right. Yeah, that is a skill that hands down we think you guys need. The other thing, just like having enough seeds though, is to have all of the equipment on hand that you need to grow those seeds. That's another thing that, we've actually taken a hard look at for this year. Looking at things like garden hoses, the weed fabric that we use, you know, is any of it getting to kind of the end of its life cycle where, you know, maybe we don't absolutely need to replace it right now, but maybe it's time to buy, you know, an extra garden hose to put on the shelf in the garage so that when this one goes, we have one ready instead of, you know, this one goes and now I can't get any.
Right, an extra shovel,
right,
an extra hoe,
right,
just more of those hand implements that you use in the garden.
Right, that's something we've been doing now really for a couple years, is kind of evaluating like what things do we have that are getting to the end of their life, because everything has a lifespan, and what can we do slowly over time. But you guys, I'm not sure slowly over time is the way to go for this year. I think if you can afford to do it and it's available in your area, you should really take a hard look at those things and go out and get what you need.
Now I know 2 growing seasons ago, you know, jars were basically non-existent. They were not in the stores. People were having a hard time getting them. So now is also the time to evaluate anything that you need for food preservation, to get those things now while they're available so that you have them when you need them. Because it really doesn't matter if you grow a great garden, if you grow all this food, if you don't have a way to preserve it. However it is that you preserve food, you need the means to be able to do that.
Now in most areas, spring is coming, and most of you know that that's the time of year when you start to do big projects. You've been stuck in the house all winter, or you know, you haven't been able to get as much done all winter, and so spring comes and you really want to get going on projects. I would recommend, just like everything else, you don't wait to go buy what you need for those projects. Honestly, I would start looking at, what do I want to do this spring, this summer, and this fall? And if you can afford to, buy what you need now.
Those materials are only going to continue to go up, and they may become less and less available. So getting those things down on paper, calculating everything that you need, getting a price quote, and getting what you can now, it's going to allow you to have a much better experience getting those projects done.
Right. The other thing is, make a list of all of those projects and then really evaluate the importance of them.
And the necessity.
And the necessity. Because there are things, of course, we'd all love to do, but you know, given everything that's going on, if it's not a necessity, you really need to evaluate, is this the right time to do it? Or is there something that is a necessity that should come first?
Right.
And along those same lines, kind of the last thing we wanted to talk to you about, something that we're doing here on our own homestead, is to take a step back and reevaluate everything that we're doing. Is it something that really benefits the homestead? Is it something that can kind of pay for itself?
Right.
And, you know, is that really something we need to be doing during a time when prices are getting out of control, supplies are getting harder to find? Are the things that we're doing worth it? Right.
Is every animal and the quantity of animals that you have, do you really need to have that many? If you're selling something like eggs, for example, are they paying for it? You know, is the cost of those eggs paying for the feed, paying for your gas to go to the farmer's market to sell them, and all that?
Right.
Just evaluate those things, because right now it's time for smart spending.
Right. You know, one thing that I figured out just recently with the gas prices the way they are, is that because of where we live out in the country, to go to town and back cost me about $6. Every time I drive to town, it costs me $6. So, like Sarah said, if you're selling eggs and you need to drive them into town to, say, drop them off for someone, and you're getting $2 for those eggs, was it worth your time? So those are the types of things that you need to be really taking a hard look at and making sure that you're making wise decisions. Because sometimes it may seem like you sit down and figure out the actual numbers, and you know, it's just not worth it.
Right. So you guys, that was a lot to think about,
right.
And we completely understand that. But we truly believe that if we're thinking about these things and kind of generating a plan, either in your head or on paper with your spouse, that if those things come true, you've thought through them, and there's a lot less opportunity for fear to be in place and a lot less opportunity for you to feel like so many things are out of control.
Right. This is also an opportunity for you to really sit down and have some good in-depth conversations with your spouse, with your kids,
Right.
with those around you of how are we going to all work together to make things work here on our homestead or our farm or just in our own backyard. How are we going to make that all work? And make it into something that the family can do together.
Right. And you know what could be a good family discussion is, what are some things that we can stop doing that would allow us to do these things, which would help us be prepared for the future?
Right. So you guys, we hope that you enjoy these types of videos. We are planners. That's just the way our brains
work. You probably
work.
have figured that out by now if you've been around for a while.
We're just always planning, and we're always thinking about how we can do things better, more efficiently, save money, but yet still aim at our goal of raising all of our own food.
You guys, I hope that you enjoyed going through that thought process with a little bit today. And we hope that you're enjoying our videos, all of our videos, but you know, also videos like these. If you are enjoying our videos, if you could hit the subscribe button down below, that would be very helpful. But also, really the best way that you can help us here on our homestead is just to share our videos on your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.